Hello, I'm Roger Bisbee from the Skill Builder channel, and last night we put out a little joke video really about how to keep your feet warm by putting crisp packets over your toes. I mean, it works to a certain extent, but it was a bit tongue-in-cheek. But we got loads of great response, so thank you very much to everybody who responded and gave us great suggestions like hot chili flavour for your feet, that kind of thing. It's all great. Anyway, there were a few serious things in there. One, there were some Americans saying you need to get the best boots in the world, and they gave us the name of these lovely boots, so I looked them up, and they're great boots. There's no doubt about it, they're great boots, but they're not safety boots. In the UK, we've got to have steel toe caps, we've got to have reinforced soles, all that kind of stuff. Otherwise, they sling you off sight. Here's an interesting thing: steel toe caps attract cold. The cold hangs on those steel toe caps, so you get cold tootsies. If you can get some carbon ones, you can get some synthetic ones now, which are very strong, but they're not as cold as the steel one. But then I got one from a young lad this morning, and he said, "Oh, I'm going to try this tomorrow with these crisp packets," he said, "because my feet have been freezing all day long." He said, "I've had 3 pairs of socks on and my toes are still cold." And I went, 3 pairs of socks? That's going to cut your circulation down. 3 pairs of bad socks are not as good as 1 pair of good socks. You need wool, you need air. All insulation is based on trapping air. Think of a duck fluffing up its feathers. It keeps lovely and toasty warm. Now, I learnt a lot of this stuff very early on in my life. Spent some time working in the Arctic Circle right up in northern Norway in the fishing industry. I learnt a lot of things about how to keep warm. One of the things I learnt is that you need the air circulation. You don't want to restrict your feet. You don't want to close them up so tightly that you cut down the circulation. One of the things that they use up in northern Norway is a clog. Look at that, a great thickness of wood there, keeping you insulated from the ground. So that's a fantastic thing. And you think, how do they keep you warm in the snow? But they do, because the air can circulate around there. You've got a nice woolly sock on, and actually you'd be amazed. I walked around in northern Norway in the midst of winter. I just wore clogs most of the time, mainly because I couldn't afford anything else. But I was absolutely fine. The basic science is that you've got a central heating system inside you. So if you go out just wearing a t-shirt like this, you're a nutcase. You've got to keep warm. And where's that furnace? Where is it? It's in here. Basically, you're eating food, so it's very important that you eat well in the cold weather. You get some hot drinks down you. That creates heat in your boiler, and your boiler runs out through all your pipe work. That's your veins, and it goes out to your extremities. If you've got a warm core, if you can keep the heat in your core by wearing a good jacket, some good layers, blood will go out through your pipe work, through your veins, and it will keep all your extremities warm. As soon as that core gets cold, the body does a very clever thing. It thinks, to hell with preserving your arms, your legs, your toes and your feet and all that kind of thing. I'm going to preserve the main things that keep me going, which is the heart, the organs and so on. So what happens is it starts cutting off the circulation to your extremities, and it concentrates on keeping your core warm. So then you start feeling cold hands and cold feet, and if it goes on for too long, you'll lose those fingers and you'll lose those toes. That's the way it works. Very clever design. So you warm your core up, and when you warm your core up and your core says, that's okay, I'm safe now, I'm back at that magic temperature that we have to keep within 1 or 2 degrees of, then it starts to pump blood around your extremities. Even without gloves on, your hands can be warm if your core's warm. And not only your core, of course, you're going to lose something like 25% of your heat through your head, so they say. Well, in the case of me, because I've got a very large head, it's likely to be anywhere up to 50%. So very important to wear a hat, keep your head warm, keep your core warm, and your hands and feet will largely take care of themselves. But another little tip for your feet: if you get some of that underlay that they put underneath wooden floors and so on, laminate floors, the stuff with the silver in is really great. Go to work with a pair of scissors, be a bit artistic, cut the shape out left and right, put those in the bottom of your boots, and they work wonders. But you can't beat good footwear, you can't beat good socks. If you need gloves, I hardly ever wear gloves. My dad never used to wear gloves, and I always wondered why his hands were so warm. And I said, "Dad, why are your hands so warm?" He said, "I keep my core warm, son." That stuck with me all these years. I'm passing that information on to you young whippersnappers. I'm Roger Bisbee. Come back to see us soon. We got more coming up on Skill Builder.